Ladies and gentlemen, Two Dudes Talk Music in conjunction with E. Brown Industries and Big Jerry Burger brings to you everybody's new favourite game show, Get in the Bin. Now, let's go to our host, Reverend Raph and the beer buddy, Kyle. What's happening, everybody? I am the Reverend Raph, joined once again by my good friend Kyle, aka the beer buddy.
What's going on, everybody?
And it is time for Get in the Bin. We have Liam from Idle Ruin, who has been chatting with us this week, still on that same can of Foster's because it's that terrible. It's going to take 4 days to drink it. And yeah, and yes,
this can get in the bin.
Time for everyone's favorite Sunday night game show, Get in the Bin, where we talk to our guests and we say, hey, if you had phenomenal cosmic power and could snap your fingers and eliminate 3 things out of the music business, what would they be and why? Without further ado, Liam, what is the first thing that you would eliminate from the music business and why?
Could we please stop using AI for album covers?
Yeah, I agree.
Yep, agreed.
I agree. 100%.
Agreed.
We're making music and we would not, we don't like the idea of AI music taking away our space and taking our work and, taking opportunities away from us. So why should we then be okay with doing that to visual artists? Yeah.
And I'm not anti-AI. I use it in my day job and it is, it makes a lot of tasks easier. It has application, but I think my own beef is it's being put in the artistic and musical spaces. And I think that's problematic.
No, I have to agree.
But at the same time, I have heard some arguments for it as well, where, musicians, we don't have a lot of money.
Yes.
We spend all this time recording and getting everything together. And then it's just now we need to have budget for art. So I'm not saying I agree with that aspect, but I can see in a roundabout way why some bands will do that. But at the same time, there are a lot of artists struggling out there.
It's the kind of argument, right? I'm sure you've probably heard the argument when it comes to people talking about comedy, right? And I am a firm believer of the position that either everything is okay to joke about or nothing is. And that doesn't mean I agree or think that, it's necessarily morally acceptable for people to joke about certain topics. But I think that there has to be, if people are joking about stuff that is heinous and I don't personally think should be joked about, I won't engage with that. And if I have issues with it on moral grounds, I'll hash that out. I'd be happy to hash that out with people. But that doesn't mean that I can sit there and say that, because if I start saying, where's the line on that, So I think it's similarly, I think that there's, we can sit here and say that we don't think people should be using AI art, despite understanding the reasons that people do.
Yes. And it's all and like the early days of the internet, it's a bit of the Wild West at the moment. We're still creating new rules and regulations and how AI art can be used, or what restrictions we can place on it in regards to copyright material, and how artists can lay claim to their art not being scraped. So I think we still have a few years to go before things start to really level out. But
yeah.
Well,
here's the ultimate argument that I think is one of the key things in to convince people not to use it, right? It's already been decided in multiple court cases that AI generated art, AI generated quote unquote art does not have the same copyright protections on it as human generated art. So why would you want your album cover to not be copyright protected? If you use AI art to make your album cover and you just take that wholesale and prop it on the album, anyone can use that. Anyone else can take that, and that unique album cover that you love so much that you've put your identity into, is someone else is now using that, and you can't do shit about it. At the core of it, I'm like, at least protect yourself like that. You know, if you can use it, I'm like you. I think there's great uses for it,
Absolutely.
and I think it's perfectly fine if people are using it as to hash out concepts. I think that's a great step. You know, you just go, all right, get some concept ideas, and then take those to an actual artist and go, hey, this is the kind of stuff we're thinking. You know, and then you have an actual artist come up with a unique design inspired by the ideas you've developed and hashed out using that. And then, hey, bingo bango, you've got something that looks really cool. You've got an artist that has done it, and you've actually had given an actual artist work, and you've got a fully copyrighted thing that you know that people can't steal.
Well, I mean, you've seen the whole thing
You've got
sort of delve
protections
into
if someone does steal it.
What are your thoughts on the whole thing of where, video games, especially sport ones now, where people where the tattooists are trying to get money out of the video games for their tattoos being...
That's tricky. That goes back a while because you've got...
It is a weird one though, isn't it?
It's really tricky because where does, for something like a tattoo, where does the ownership of that end? Like, yes, they still came up with the design and it's still a copyright of that.
But I bought it off you.
But, well, no, you bought a copy of that.
Yeah. Well, unless I got a custom job that I've asked you not to replicate, and I'll probably pay extra for it.
The rules of fair use also come into play as well. Like back in the days of YouTube, where you had your movie commentators and your movie reviewers on YouTube, but they'd get flagged by the studios for using material from their films. But then the rules, changed in terms of commentary, parody, and review, and all that sort of stuff. Like, will there be new rules in place for using someone else's artworks, that kind of thing? And will they, even in the same sense of open source and open licenses, like, will there be artists be like, put their art out, being like, okay, anyone can take this, anyone can use it for their own art or their own AI illustrations, that kind of stuff. So I think there's still a lot of rules and regulations that need to come out, but at the same time,
Yeah. I fully understand where you're coming from. It's a very complex topic for sure, and we could spend
definitely.
We could debate it for hours on that alone.
For hours, yeah.
Okay, cool. So that's a really good one. All right, what's your second thing that you would eliminate?
All right, this is going to make me sound like a bit of a metal purist. And I'm actually keen to hear some arguments about this one. Like,
okay, hang on.
So I mean, there are a lot of amazing progressive metal bands out there, but what is the term progressive becoming a little bit redundant these days? I mean, you get a lot of bands that are just like, okay, we're a prog metal band, but they sound exactly like Tesseract or Periphery. I'm just like, okay. Back in the 70s, progressive metal was about, or progressive rock was about progressing beyond the confines of the genre. Are we still progressing?
Okay.
Yeah, dude.
That's an interesting. It is a very okay. I do get where you're coming from, and I think there's
absolutely what you're saying.
There's absolutely some merit to the point that I think you're raising there.
And again,
because technically, because Gent. Well, when you think about it, Gent was like the next progression of metal.
Yeah.
And like, how much more can we actually progress? I mean, I guess progressive metal now is a niche genre where you're going to get a calamity of instruments, weird time signatures, longer songs, with zero consistency into the way that you're going to get an album piece together, I guess.
But it's
sort of taken into its own genre.
I think the definition has even changed though. Like, as you say, originally, like back in the 70s, you had bands that would be considered progressive rock that were like pushing the boundaries, trying all sorts of different things, really trying to explore the different spaces around the core genre. Nowadays, any band that has a few songs with with some funky time signatures in there seems to slap the prog label on themselves. And I think
like,
that is it becoming, is it too watered down almost comparatively? But I mean, I'll give you another example. I'll give you something I think is a similar example to something there. I I feel like maybe this is almost highlighting what you're talking about by putting an example that's in some ways almost opposite. But you'll I think you'll understand when I put it out there. So nu metal, when I maintain that the nu metal period that where it originated, where the term
90s,
originated, is not a genre, it's an era.
I'll agree.
Because you look at all of the bands that were lumped into that nu metal category at the time, and they're so different from one another that it was a case of there was just an explosion of diversity and different things were happening in that space. That you had like Korn, Limp Bizkit, Slipknot, Manson, Disturbed, Deftones. Or a lot of these bands were getting a lot of these bands were getting lumped with that nu metal label, Fear
and
Factory, but they're so different from one another, right?
But a lot of those bands, they even contested against it too. They're like, no, we're not nu metal.
But nowadays, if you use the term nu metal today, there's a sound associated with that, and it's a little bit of, not even like rap metal, like, that sort of stuff. So that rap metal is almost its own thing now, right? Back in the day, it was the idea of nu metal was very much considered to be, metal with rap in it. That was a lot. It kind of became that by the end of the period when it had become trendy, and a lot of people were trying to jump on it to jump on the trend and ride the popularity of it and everything. That kind of became what it was. But you look at bands these days, and I'm trying to think of some fucking names, and for the life of me, I can't.
Black Gold.
I mean, I'd say they're more rap metal there. What's that goddamn band? Fuck, it's killing me now. They've got the guitarist is a black woman, and she's absolutely fucking incredible.
I can't help you.
Sorry, I don't know.
Oh, didn't we do a reaction to them?
Starts with a T. Fuck. I know they're in my library somewhere. Let me find them. It's gonna kill me if I don't fucking find them.
Yeah, but that also begs the question. We've got this. It was called nu metal in the 90s because it was a new sound, like NU.
Yes.
But now we have nu metal.
Yes. Yeah. Almost post nu metal. Really, what we've got now is almost a post nu metal type thing. That is where it's come around, and the modern nu metal is inspired by a lot of what the original nu metal bands were doing. It's like a second wave.
Which is an even new flavor again because the rap game has changed so much. Like, and this is only through the progression through the rap game because the rap game changed so much, and because nu metal has such a cohesion with rap, it's going to create this whole new metal.
Tetrarch, that's who I'm thinking of. Tetrarch is one of the bands I was thinking of.
Never heard of them, I'm afraid.
You should check them out. They're actually really, really fucking good. But they've got a sound that's almost like, it's almost a bit Linkin Park, a little bit Korn, a little bit, of that sort of elements of it, but done in a very modern way. And it's I think they're probably one of the best examples of the modern nu metal sound that's really become its own thing, distinct from that late 90s, early 2000s nu metal. And I to circle back to your original point, I think the same thing has happened with prog metal. You have a lot of these, bands who are doing, they like Dream Theater and all of these, and all these the classic prog metal bands have had their whole careers before these modern prog metal bands came about, and they are taking the elements that they like from that and infusing it into it's like a modern prog thing that's almost, like I said, almost there's so many differences between that classic prog metal sound and what classic prog metal was doing to what modern prog metal is.
I mean, you even have a look at like System of a Down. System of a Down, their first album would have been considered prog, and now we are blessed with Caligula's Horse. Like you listen to bands like that, and like
I mean,
all the Aussie prog metal bands that just hit different.
I mean, realistically, I think it could be argued that any
Progress
band
part.
that involves a lot of genre bending in their music
Mm.
could be
is
considered
is
to be
is progressive in nature.
Yeah.
Like I listen to Igor, and I'm like, okay, this to me it's all relative, but this to me
Yeah.
is progressive in nature
Yeah.
and that kind of thing.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. It's
I think.
crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
I
a
think
great
more of it's like, yeah.
it's a great point that you raised, though. I think
Mm.
Oh, it's a
it's
really
and I
interesting
think it's a
one.
really interesting look at the way that the same label, like hardcore, is another great example. You know, hardcore.
Absolutely, yeah.
You look at what hardcore was in the 80s and sort of through the early 90s, and then
Oh,
compare it to,
Hmm.
what we would
the mid
colloquially call
2000 or early
hardcore in the
2000s.
2000s, which really was. I mean, hardcore in the 2000s was really almost like it was a whole different thing. It was like
It's a whole different thing,
post
yeah.
hardcore or metalcore, whatever you want to call it, the different kind
Hmm.
of genre blending that was going on there. But yeah, it's I mean, it's something that happens so often. R&B is another label. If you want to get outside the heavy music space, R&B, it
Oh,
used to be like rhythm and
Rhythm and
blues
blues.
was a very distinct thing, and now like modern R&B is something wholly different to that.
mm.
It's
I think that's come. I think it's come back around. I think when you speak to R&B purists and what we colloquially would call R&B is not what they consider R&B. Do you
Hmm.
know? Because there are some of those real true R&B artists out there that do take it as seriously as what
mm,
it was back then.
it's a fascinating discussion. I'd love to have
Yeah.
someone that was a bit more knowledge, like if like
Oh yeah,
someone way
definitely.
more knowledgeable and more in the weeds on it than any of us.
Then
Like they would
and
be. That'd be a
yeah.
fascinating discussion, and I'd love to really be able to dive into that with someone and
Mm.
how and
And
explore how it's changed and cycled over time.
yeah, and on the other side of the spectrum, like I mean, new wave of thrash metal. Okay.
Oh,
Now this
far
is
out.
I love thrash, but we've been calling it the new wave of thrash metal since the year 2000. Is it new anymore?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
exactly,
it's not.
exactly. 25 years, guys.
It's
Come on,
not.
come on.
Far out. It's old enough. It's old
So
enough to have a mortgage and be depressed.
Look,
And that's what's wrong
absolutely.
with it.
let's put it this way. Let's put it this way. If you're talking new wave of thrash metal stuff from the 2000s, that is now older than what 80s thrash would have been in the
Exactly.
2000s.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mm.
So
So like
you can't. It's hard. You can't call it new anymore.
Yeah.
In that way, like it not.
mm,
It's yeah. It's just the development in genres is just such a fascinating thing to me, and like looking at
absolutely. Yeah.
what's influenced what and things that have like bled into each other as we're going through it. Like it's just such a great dive. And okay, bringing it back around. What's your third thing? What's your third thing that you would eliminate from or change from the music business?
From the music business.
Any element, big or small, altruistic or selfish, you
Mm.
know.
Oh, okay. I'm going to be completely selfish here, and this doesn't equate to just the music business, but if any of you follow me on Facebook, you know I can be quite vocal about IPA beer. So can we stop serving it at music venues?
But what would Kyle drink?
Yeah.
Ah,
I love IPAs.
oh no.
No, I agree though.
Yeah.
I agree though. Get rid of fuck off the IPAs and
See,
get a couple more
if my,
cider
mate,
varieties in there. Thank you.
if my lips aren't tingling while I'm drinking it, it ain't hoppy enough. No, but I
Give
do
me.
understand. Look, it is a gimmick. It is an acquired taste. It is. As much as I do love it,
Yeah.
yeah. Just look, you can't go past a
Oh,
good standard lager or an XPA or something like that. But yeah, I do understand what you're saying. I do understand,
but
especially yeah.
look, I went to we were doing a show at Frankie's Pizza, and the owner he pours me like a glass of like I don't know what of some crafty stuff. It was like coriander and truffles and mango or something like
Yeah,
that
yeah.
IPA,
It's
and I'm
meant to
just
be a
like,
dive bar, mate. Why you got anything with
yeah,
fucking
They
coriander and
had one of the
truffles?
best. They had one of the best beer selections going that place. I had a
mm,
Yeah, I won't even get into that. We'll be here for an hour.
yeah.
But
But
mate, look, I get it. I
sorry,
get
Carl,
it.
you're dead to me, mate. You're an IPA drinker. I
Nah,
can't
that's
talk
all
to you.
right. That's all right. Oh, mate,
Fight, 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 fight.
I'll drink anything.
But
I actually, like, I was just drinking a homebrew lager that I made, so I
mm,
homebrew as well. But yeah, look,
yeah, nice.
IPAs are my general favorite. but they are a lot to handle. Like they're very hoppy,
Yeah.
they're very bitter. Like the, but yeah, like those lagers and stuff now. Only because I've drank so many IPAs over my years, the rest of them just go down like water now. They just like okay,
Mm.
Mm.
they don't taste like anything. They've broken my
Is that
taste
because
buds. All
you
the
is,
hops.
is that because the IPA you've lost you have no taste because you're an IPA fan, mate?
Probably, 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 mate.
But
I'm a VB
but
drinker by trade. If I was going to say anything, I'm a VB drinker by trade.
And
look,
here's me
yeah, I
sitting
mean,
over here like I don't even drink beer. Just can I give me a cider? I was like, can I have my my bubbly fruit juice, please? That's
and this is me. I mean, I'm
Sorry.
drinking a Foster's. I mean, I
Yeah,
deserve all the judgment here, but
that's it.
no, like
What do you
I,
normally drink? What's your staple?
normally lagers and ales and all that sort of stuff. And
Yeah,
like,
okay,
I love
okay.
a good, session ale or even
Yeah,
XPA is pretty good. But like,
yeah,
like if someone shouts me an IPA, I'll drink it because I didn't pay for the
yeah,
damn thing.
yeah.
But
Like if I ever
uh,
go out, the first thing I'm trying is an IPA if it's there. Like I've had the Rodenbach. I've had
okay.
that. That was absolutely fantastic. We've got this really nice place down the road that does a German Pilsner. That is
Oh yeah, yeah.
absolutely one of the best Pilsners I've ever drank. Sensational. But just yeah, IPAs are just like I just don't turn my nose up to any beer unless really it's a stout.
Yeah, fair enough. But one of my best mates, like, his hatred is pineapple on pizza. And one night I
Oh,
was at
I
my
hate that too.
local. Uh, you,
okay. Now here's my thing with pineapple on pizza. Right? Here's my thing.
yeah.
I am I despise pineapple on pizza primarily because it's never done right.
I'll
Okay.
agree. Actually, yeah,
My
I'm
issue,
picky about it.
my biggest issue with pineapple on pizza, because I sweet and savory, like or sweet and thingy, like they
Mm,
go. The flavor profiles do work together.
I agree.
The beef that I have is that it's in giant fucking chunks. Shred it, shred it, and
Actually, yeah, shredded pineapple would be
shred
cool.
it,
Yeah, yeah.
and have it even kind of dispersed throughout across, like melted in with the cheese or whatever, like that.
Mm,
That is how you get people to it. It's like the freaking getting people to appreciate Vegemite when they're not Australians, and
mm.
they try to scoop it on and put shitloads on there. It's like, no, you're eating it wrong. You gotta, you do the. For those watching outside the country, this is some Australian Australians have no culture. Watch this,
I'll
sweetie.
fucking fight you
No,
on
no,
this. Don't put
we
a
got
fucking on there.
Oh,
Don't you
yeah.
fucking
Well,
we
put
got
pineapple on the
you
pizza.
get
I'll
all right. The
fight you
enemy of
on
my enemy is my best friend here.
no, mate, but you
I do
gotta
not
like
stand with these people. This
no,
is where I
no,
draw
no.
the
It
line.
has to be and you know how I realized that that's what I like. It's because I used to get the I used to go to used to go to Mad Mex all the
Mm,
time, right? And I always would get the corn salsa on my burrito, and for the longest time I did not realize it had pineapple in it.
right.
And then I found out that once I realized and I looked closely, it's like shredded. It's like shredded all through it. So you're only getting like little bits of it at a time. You're not getting a giant mouthful all at once, which is when
Mm.
it's like that's when it's just overbalanced and it doesn't work. You got to have it shredded and even like lightly kind of spread across the pizza. That's when the flavor works.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I'll try that out. But like, I got pretty spoiled in Berlin where, there were probably only two Domino's pizzerias there, but like always went to the local, fresh oven baked, amazing. And
Yeah.
I'd get the Hawaiian, and that was sensational. And that spoiled me. I came back here and had a pizza with pineapple on it. I was like, yeah, this isn't the same.
Yeah.
But what I was getting at is like one of my best mates, his hatred is pineapple on pizza. I went to my local, they had pineapple pizza IPA. I take a photo of it, send it to him. I say, hey man, truce.
Yeah.
I don't know if I drink it. I don't know if I drink
What's
it on
Kyle gonna
principle.
do? That's
Oh,
I don't know
yeah.
if I drink it on principle. Do you know, like this is what my friends do. I'll be like 20 beers deep, and then someone will just
mm.
go, Kyle, pineapple on pizza, and I'll lose my fucking mind.
Well, there you go.
Nah, you're all right, Kyle.
let us know your thoughts on pineapple on pizza and why it's right or an atrocity, and all that down in the comments, please. Tell us why
It's
Oh,
going to be
God.
Tell us why we're all wrong. Tell us
I
why
look
we're
forward
all
to the
wrong.
comments.
And tell
forward to
us,
these
you know,
comments.
tell Liam why he's wrong about IPAs. Tell Kyle why he's wrong about IPAs. Tell me why I'm wrong about ciders, and just generally go off in the comments because hey, what
Yeah,
else
that's
are these
it.
videos for? So anyway, look, thank you so much for spending this time this week, Liam. This has been awesome chatting to you. Cannot wait
Great
for you to
dude,
get
man.
out on the road. I will have to try and make myself
Yeah.
available for some shows when they start happening, so I can come out and see you guys in person. And we're going to have links to all of Idle Ruin's socials down in the description. So go and follow them so you can get tabs on everything there. Go and check out the album. It's a killer album. And prepare yourself because there's going to be more coming by the sounds of it. I'm excited for that. If you liked this video today, give it a like. If you didn't, downvote the shit out of it. I have been Reverend Raph with my good friend Kyle and our new mate Liam from Idle Ruin. Thank you very much for watching this far, everybody. Look after each other. Stay cool, and we'll see you next time.
Peace.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us today. We really hope you had a good time. If you did, please consider hitting that subscribe button and the notification bell down there. It helps the channel grow. We are still a fairly young channel, and we like to try and grow our audience all over the world. We do also, for those of you who are interested, have a Patreon. It's just a couple of bucks a month. At the moment, you get all the videos early and ad-free, but we are working on ways to increase the value of that and make it a bit more enticing. So don't forget to keep an eye out and check back on what's going on over there. Other than that, thank you so much for your time. Enjoy the rest of your day.